All right, it's Wages and Warriors with Mario Heron. Make sure to check out also after this the Bolt Crew podcast that we just released after the NFL draft. O'Mare and Hampton with the Los Angeles Chargers. We break that all down with me, Dave Pele, and Josh Pele. It's all over at the Bolt Crew podcast. Search it on YouTube or get it wherever you get your podcast. But this is Wages and Warriors. We're going to talk about the fight card, the fight night this weekend in Kansas City. Ian Gary versus Carlos Prates, the welterweight division. Very exciting fight. Ian Gary takes another fight on a short notice. God, that guy really wants a BMF belt really badly. He's willing to fight in one anywhere, but we'll get to that fight later on. We'll start with some early fights on the card. Before we get to that one, it's about 4 fights in total. We'll break down for today, and make sure you leave a comment if you like it. Leave a comment if you think it sucks. If you tail and you win, comment. If you tail and you lose, comment. Whatever you want to do. It's a free country. All right, so we'll start with the middleweight fight: Michael Pereira versus Abus Magomedov. Middleweight fight, like I said, Michael Pereira, he's coming off a very, very tough loss. We just kind of got the really short end of the stick. Sometimes in the UFC, we said over and over again, you cause a highlight or you are the highlight. And he was very much the highlight last fight, but he's going to come into this one still very, very strong. 31-12 overall, 8 wins by KO, 9 wins by submissions, 14 first-round finishes. Extremely talented guy. Takedown defense is very good at 77%. 4.46 strikes landed, but he does take almost all that and absorb two as well. So he's a big brawler. And he faces Abus, who 27-6. He has a big reach advantage. But the thing that kind of gives me pause if you want to bet on anything Abus level or anything on that side is his striking numbers just aren't the best, and they're not very eye worthy, not something that jump off the page to you or something you really want to back right away, right? It's quite the opposite, honestly, because if you look at strikes landed, it's 2.65. He absorbs more than he throws. His takedown defense is exceptional, but that means he's probably not going to look for it to go to the ground. He has 15 first-round finishes in his 27 wins, which is very, very good. But when he kind of faces guys that are of a higher caliber, he tends to kind of, fall low. He fights one of the fighting nerds, he gets beat by decision. He faces Sean Strickland, he gets KO'd. So when he kind of has to go up against, the better guys in the division or topper fighters, the more skilled guys in the UFC, it tends to not go his way, right? And this one, I look at Michael Pereira going, all right, you last fight, it was not the best for you. It's kind of a short resting period after that fight to kind of jump right back in. So, how strong is that chin really? But he went the full distance in that fight, so chin has to be still pretty strong and still has that willpower in it. And I think Pereira's very much so the better striker, the better puncher, the better stand-up by far in this fight, and that's what makes me kind of lean that way. He can hang with the top of an opponent. He's faced more experienced guys, more dangerous guys than Abus is, and he really kind of needs to bounce back win at the same time. So I think he's going to outstrike him. I think he's going to duel him out. He's going to make it a brawl, and in a brawl, he's going to win. And that's why, he's favored too. If you look at odds at minus 145, if there's another way to bet it, kind of method of victory, I think if you go him by decision, it's plus 300. I don't mind that. I think that could be a good play. If you think he can knock him out, it's at plus 200. But, to be honest with you, I really lean on him to go by decision or technical decision. I think that's kind of where this fight's going to go. But Michael Pereira is going to win that fight, in my opinion. All right, the next fight, we go 12th ranked Giga Chikadze. God, pronunciation's hard. Versus David Onama at the featherweight bout. This fight, Giga, first off, hasn't fought in a while, has taken a little bit of a big pause in fighting, and then suddenly he misses weight. Oof. I hate that more than anything. I think if a fighter takes off a little bit of time in fighting, like some people kind of freak out about that and take that to their disadvantage. I don't think it's that big of a deal. Sometimes guys just need to rest out. Sometimes just need to kind of get their head straight. But what gives me a lot of worry is when a guy has done that and then he comes back and he can't make weight. That's where I go, what the hell's going on? Are you really prepared for this fight? He's going to suffer. I think he's going to give up 20% of his purse because of it. So he's not kicked out of the bout or anything like that. But why? It gives me, if you're going into this, have you been mentally preparing for this? How good do you feel? And if you miss weight, is that on your mind? Because that means in order to kind of even get down to the weight you were, you maybe showed up overweight to camp. And if you're trying to cut down that fast and it doesn't work out for you, what's not going right with you? These fight in today's day and age, if you want to make weight, I'm not trying to be a douche here, but you can. You just can. There's never been more resources in the world for you to cut weight and fighting than there is right now in the safest way possible. Does it suck? Yes. Does you hate your life? Yes. Is it the worst thing ever? Of course it is. But there's never been a safer way to do it than there is right now. Just so many different routes. You want to go get drunk like you're at Taporia? Go ahead. We'll see if that works for you. But that's just my point on that. And he faces David, who is no slouch by any means. He's 13-2. He's got 6 first round finishes out of those 13 wins, 7 by KO. He's won 3 fights in a row. His last fight was even on a short notice fight, so he had to jump in there, made weight, and dominate the fight. And then now you face a guy in Giga that's taking a lot of time off, that, isn't as good of a striker as you are, and has lost 2 of his last 3 fights. And the last fight was obviously a tough one against Arnold Allen, who's pretty high up in the featherweight division, but still. I think it's David's fight to lose, and I think he's going to easily win this one. All the factors that go into it point to him. He's at minus 190. I would take him, to be honest with you guys, to get a little nuts here. And I would take it by how the fight will end by KO. That's at plus 175. If you want to take method of victory too, it's at plus 150. But that little extra price of it at plus 175, the bonus action you kind of get there that's where I lean on that one. So I'll take David in this fight by far. Next one, Anthony Smith, the retirement fight. Great career for the kid. He's not a kid; he's a grown-ass man. He could whoop my ass. But great career for him. 38-21, 19 wins by KO, 15 wins by submissions, 12 first-round finishes. This is his retirement fight. He's been in UFC since 2013. He's been around the block, real company man. And he faces a guy in Zhang who Min Yang, I think I nailed that one. If I didn't, just blame my first grade teacher. She sucked. It's light heavyweight division. His opponent, man, has just crazy knockout power, and Zhang's stats in this is just like frightening. He's 2-0 so far in the UFC. And Anthony Smith is by far like his hardest test. But I was watching his last fight, and when he KO'd him with an elbow, and sometimes when you get a KO, it's just like a lightning rod shot that's like heard around the world. And in this one, it was just like a simple elbow, and the guy just went down and just folded like a chair. I think if he grazes your chin, like you're going to sleep, sweet dreams. Hopefully someone's reading you a book. It's going to be quick on you. So he enters this too. Zhang does with 8.57 strikes landed per minute, which is just insanity. That's just such a high volume. All 18 wins he's had in his professional career are first round finishes. So no one's even made it to the second round. For a guy that's going into the retirement, this is just the biggest nightmare fighter to fight against. A guy with this much power if he just taps you. The weak side to this whole thing is if Anthony Smith attacks him on the takedown strategy, Zhang's only a blue belt in jiu-jitsu. So that's where Anthony can really do his damage. And I've talked about multiple times my thoughts if you're a blue belt. It's just not really going to go your way sometimes in the UFC. But that's the way Anthony can kind of survive this fight. If it's at all in stand-up, then I hate to say this because Anthony Smith's a fantastic fighter. He's had a very awesome career. It's been very fun watching him all this time. But it's just not going to go well for him. And by the way, the odds yell that to the sky, to the high heavens, right? If you want to take Zhang to win by KO, it's minus 325. If you want to take him by submission, it's plus 900, and just knowing how that's going to happen. I think those odds actually should be bigger, to be honest with you. 10 goal decisions plus 700. That's how crazy this is. If you just want like a fun long shot that's just like, hey, what the hell, and you're a big Anthony Smith fan, I would actually take submission that's 10-1 because that is the way that I've mentioned that's how he's going to kind of win this fight. But I don't think he will. But again, if you're a big Anthony Smith fan, that's the way to do it. Overall, I would just take this fight probably the under in terms of rounds. See if I can find it here. I'm not finding it. So total rounds, yeah, you can take the unders at minus 200. That's not really going to help you, but maybe a parlay option would be great. So maybe take the under, and if you can parlay it with maybe Zhang on the money line, then you're kind of chilling there. Maybe you can float the plus odds and maybe get a little added money back to you. But that's kind of how that fight's going to go. Anthony Smith, great fight. Hopefully give a good highlight reel for him too on the way out, but it's a tough fight on the way out. Let's get to the main event, welterweight division. Ian, Gary, Carlos Prates. Oh, man. This is going to be so amazing. Ian Gary, he's 15-1, coming off that very, very tough loss. I was rewatching actually that loss he had in that fight, and he just, my overall take was he took too long. He just way too long to get that going. They were in a clinch battle, and then breaking the clinch, he just got caught more than he threw, and you're not going to win a fight after that. If you're in a clinch, it's like 50-50, and then you break it, and then suddenly you're just eating 1-2s and 1-2s, and you're not really throwing a lot back. You lost. That's just how it's going to go. Round 4, he looked superb. Like, he was actually kind of winning the stand-up battles, and then suddenly he gets taken down. And as soon as he gets taken down, boom, there's a lot of points that go the other direction. And then Ian finds his back in the last round, but he doesn't do his best to go for it, get the submission, and kind of win the fight. He just couldn't get it. Even multiple times he looked like he had it. He didn't. But before that, he was an 8-fight win streak. He's just lethal, and he's tough, and he's a brawler. He's going to kind of come into your face. The thing that I really hope that he does in this fight versus Carlos, I think he has to. With Carlos, he's a Muay Thai guy, Muay Thai technician, the fighting nerds. He's on 11-fight win streak. He has 16 wins by KO. For 9 first-round finishes. And what Carlos does, I think, really, really good is he just establishes his jab right away, and he has such a long reach that you just eating him so much. And that's the way he's taken a good amount of guys out. It's just that straightforward jab, and it just catches them perfectly. And he's a technician, striker. He knows how to hit it at the perfect dot, and it's just boom, you go to sleep. It's like an accurate cube. It's like a QB throwing accurate passes. That's his punches. They're just very accurate, and they're smooth, and he's long. Very, very hard to defend against. I think what Ian Gary has to do in this is just be very, very aggressive. You can't come out like you did in the last fight and kind of be timid a little bit. You got to be in his face and just go. I think maybe turn up the pressure a little bit on Carlos. And, Carlos is praised for his takedown defense is at 91%. If I'm Ian, I'm testing it. I'm going to test it out a little bit and see how really, good it is. And in doing that too, I mean, I've said this on multiple shows, but just change up everything. If at the moment he thinks, we're going to box, then go for it. The moment he thinks you're going to go for takedown, then box with him. Switch up as much as you can and keep him guessing. That's how you're going to win this fight against Carlos. And I think Ian Gary is going to do kind of his whole, his way of, I can eat anything. I can take any punch, you throw at me. I'm going to be okay. I don't know if I want to do that against Carlos, to be honest with you. I think you want to play offense more than you play defense. So if he's able to just get in his face right away and own the middle of the octagon and kind of keep Carlos on the outside, then I think he's going to be in good shape. This is really a 50-50 fight, if I'm being completely honest with you. I don't have like a solid feel that it kind of goes either way. The way I've kind of approached this is I'm going to see at the last second who is at plus money. So right now, Carlos is at plus money at plus 125, and that's where I would take it. Because in these 50-50 fights where it can kind of go either direction and both guys are dangerous, just go look at that and plus money, and you're probably going to win. Because these guys are pretty even standard-wise. So that's the way I'd lean on. So I'm going to take Carlos at the plus money because look, man, and no one's been able to kind of survive his striking. And I think Ian Gary's going to just do Ian Gary things, the Irish thing of, oh, you think you're a really good striker? Then we're going to test that. And it's like, okay, but, maybe if you mix in a couple of different ways to attack him, that can really help you in this fight. That's how Ian wins. The way Carlos wins is you do what you did with everyone else, is you kind of stay patient, you pick your spots, you pick your moments, and that's how you dissect them, and that's how you attack them, and you own the ring. If you own the ring, you're going to win the fight with the other side, but especially for Carlos. And just make it a more tight match. Keep that distance because you got the reach on him. Keep it that way, and boom, you're going to win. You're going to be all right. So I'm excited for this, man. I think this is going to be one hell of a brawl. I think this is, it should be a main card fight, main event, pay-per-view event card type of fight. This one is not that card, but this one is especially. So I'm extremely excited. I hope Ian Gary can kind of get back in it because 2 losses in a row is tough, but it would be against 2 very, very tough opponents. Again, I'm just short notice where you camp shorter and you're just taking it. I think he's trying to really show that he's a company man. And also, he's been very upfront that he should have won his last fight. And I think, when you not undefeated anymore, God, that puts a whole new chip on your shoulder and gives you a whole new anger. And I think there's an aggression too. I just want to get back out there. I just want to get back in the ring and show how dominant I really am because it's a welterweight division. It's pretty packed right now, and they both want a shot at the title. They both want Muhammad. They want him badly. So, we'll see what happens in this. Very, very excited. And that's all you got for Wages and Warriors today. Make sure to like and share the show if you love it. If you hate it, like and share it and say, hey, this guy sucks ass, or, do whatever you want to do. It's a free country. Make sure, again, turn out the Bull Crew podcast as we react to the NFL draft too with Dave Pally, Josh Pally, and myself. So that's all I got for you guys on Wages and Warriors. Thank you so much for listening. We'll see you next time.